Hi everyone, thank you all for coming today. I am so happy to be a part of this with you. My name is Hannah. I'm 23 years old and I love animals. I've always known I would spend my life with animals ever since I talked to the cats and snails in our backyard when I was 5. It has been my lifelong dream to spend all of my time watching, learning from, and taking care of the planet's creatures. That's why I applied myself with 110% effort into the traditional schooling system to graduate from Mount Holyoke College this past year with a degree in biology and Spanish, because I was determined to study the rainforests of Central and South America and help the world through conservation. But it wasn't long before I started to get burnt out in college, and I started to wonder if all the stress and exhaustion was getting me any closer to my dream. That's when I hit a wall during sophomore year of college, when I realized that the traditional education system that I was a part of was leading me into a traditional employment situation where I would be spending the vast majority of my time in my life doing what I had to do to make money, not following my dreams of spending time with nature. And that's not what I want. I realize that the level of freedom that I want and need in life to do what I want to do is not possible in the traditional system that most of us think is the only path to our dreams. And time and financial freedom are two things I'm not willing to live without anymore. So this was a sad time for me, because I didn't know what living outside of the old system looks like. We're surrounded by inspiration, like this quote from the movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which is an excellent movie. You should all see it if you haven't already. But what do we do most of the time? We look at this quote and think, oh, that's nice, and then continue on with our lives. Why don't we stop to listen to them? Why don't we truly take them to heart? I think what we tell ourselves is that we don't have enough time or money. But what if you didn't have to worry about money anymore? What if you felt like you had enough time to not only contemplate this, but then act on it? Then this isn't just a life-changing quote anymore. This is you transforming your own life, and this is how I want to live. So 3 months ago, I made an extraordinary decision that altered the arc of my career and life. I became a networker and recruiter for a biotech company out of Asia called Alphay. I have been tasked to expand this amazing company, first here in the US and then globally. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the company, the organic products they make, and the amazing wealth model they're offering to people like you and me. We're looking for people like ourselves who are interested in radically improving their lifestyle. If you are interested in creating wealth in the next few years, if you are not happy with working way too hard for the amount of money you make, if you want to join a team that is dedicated to your success and who's creating a worldwide movement all while working from our homes, if you want more time, more money, more passion, then you're in the right place at the right presentation. Let's jump right in. Let's start with this idea of big life goals. The people who usually come to this talk are really hungry for them. We've compiled a list of what people want in an ideal job that can get them to these big life goals. Let's see if they resonate with you. You want your time back. All of it. 24/7, 365 days a year. You don't want to be chained to a private practice or your boss's schedule. You want to decide when you work and where on the planet you do your work from. If you already have kids or decide to have kids someday, you don't want to have to put them in daycare and leave your home, which you love, in order to go trade your time for money. You want to work part-time, say 4 hours a week, 6 hours a week, on something that as you build it, the income keeps coming in each week, year after year, and it lasts for decades. In other words, you want a way to start building, starting this week, residual income. And we're going to talk more about that in a moment. You want to work with a team whose only goal is to help you succeed every day. For those of us fresh out of college and those of us who have been in the workforce for years, this is really important because we know how boring, depressing, and stressful working on your own can be. You want a plan that gives you some kind of daily structure and guidance towards these goals. No one can succeed in business or in any aspect of life without a map that shows you how to get from starting point $0 a week to $5,000, $10,000 a week. You want something with heart, something extraordinarily meaningful that transforms lives and inspires others, something good for the planet, something that serves a much bigger picture than just helping yourself and your own bank account. You want something that is inexpensive to start and inexpensive to run. If you can't enter this new enterprise for a few $100s and then recoup all that back, even within the first few weeks, then you're not interested. You want something that allows you to work anywhere. You want to be able to work from your home, your apartment, your tent, your camper van, the next airport lounge you're passing through, your bungalow on some beach in Tahiti, anywhere on the globe. Zero overhead. You don't want an office, no employees, no lease, no need for lawyers and contracts and paperwork or equipment other than your laptop and a Wi-Fi connection. International. You want the ability to earn money far beyond your local town. This is a part-time enterprise where you weekly are doing video conferences with people who live thousands of miles away, where your network eventually includes people in other countries over the next few years. So that's it. And here's what we've seen. More and more people want these things too. Why? Because people intuitively get that even if they're not sure how, they know that this list is possible through the internet and the technological age that we're living in. And yet, look around you. You will see so many people who are still looking at the same standard career model. They look at Craigslist postings, Monster.com, LinkedIn. What they're looking for is another job, another linear income job where they're trading their time for money. And they've been doing this approach to career ever since their first newspaper job or babysitting job, and they do this because they believe it's the only model out there. It's what all their friends do, it's what their parents did, and it's what they were taught in college. For most of us, we need to make an income. But there comes a time in our lives when we do the math and start adding up how many hours we can physically work each week, we realize that a linear income job was never designed for big life goals, and we've been buying into this model of income our entire lives. There's a really important phrase out there. It's called disruptive technology. It's where some technology completely upends the old way of doing things. Some examples: tube monitors versus LCD screens. Big TV consoles versus giant flat screens that you hang on your wall. Regular landlines versus cell phones. Fax machines versus PDFs that you can attach to an email. Everything on this page versus one tiny smartphone. With every disruptive technology, it doesn't happen overnight, but once you yourself make the shift, the old method just seems so inefficient. Understand this: a linear income job is absolutely the least efficient way for a human to earn income. You can't get any slower than trading 1 hour of your time for one fixed amount of agreed upon exchange of money. And it's that lack of efficiency that is the very thing preventing you from big life goals. You may even have a high-paying job, perhaps as a dentist or doctor, where you are in hourly rate heaven. But you are still only as good as your last hour, your last client. When you stop working, when you walk out of the office, the money stops instantly. For those of you who realize that you really do have big life dreams to sail for months at a time, and live in another country for a year to learn the language, to pay off your mortgage, eventually quit your full-time job, whatever your big life goals are that you desire, if you are one of those people, then it's time to realize that a linear income job isn't designed to get you there. But there's good news here. It's never been easier to create this dream life. Because we are alive in the midst of this revolution of technology, and this technology is allowing ordinary people like me and you to create residual income. So what is residual income? It is the missing nutrient of the diet to your dreams. When people tell you, I don't have enough time to do that, or I don't have enough time to do this, the only reason they are saying that is because they're missing residual income. Residual income means getting a check in the mail every week, every month, every year that comes to you whether you're working or not. It comes to you because you took the time to create a network of consumers, people, who purchase something for years to come. All residual income comes through sharing something that a network of people want to use over and over and over again. Now, residual income has been around forever. Some modern ways: write a book, write a song, develop an iPhone app, own property you can rent off. These are all examples of something that gives you residual income, a product that people continue to want long after it was first created. So how does someone like you or myself do that? Well, there are a few keys to creating residual income. The first key is to realize it isn't a pipe dream. This is the new reality of doing business. Those of us who are already building a residual income are not different from you. If we can do it, you can do it. Another key is to stop thinking sales and start think networking. People often say, oh, I could never create residual income because I don't want to do sales. Good, neither do I, and neither do those already on this team. Instead, what we're talking about here is what you've done all your life. You network to others, what works and what doesn't. You and I are natural networkers. It's one of the things that makes us human. Another key is to get yourself out of thinking of the standard distribution model and put yourself into word-of-mouth distribution. The standard distribution model looks like this. Almost everything you own and eat and consume was created by someone in this flow. There's the manufacturer who uses the brokers, the wholesalers, and then the retailers that get the product to you. Note, one important thing in this model, you don't fit in here. You don't earn anything from the consumption of your product. You only give money and lots of it into this picture. Now, there's nothing wrong with the standard distribution model. I'm glad it exists. That's how you and I buy most of our things. But let's take a look at the second model. Word-of-mouth distribution has been around forever. Many of the things you use came from a suggestion. Someone told you, you tried it, if you liked it, you continued using it. Oftentimes for months and years, but you told others about it as well. Again, I hear people saying, I could never be involved in distribution, I could never be involved in marketing. Well, guess what? You already are and have been since you were a kid. If you've ever purchased something based on someone's recommendation, if you ever went to a movie or read a book because a friend suggested it, if you've ever forwarded a funny cat video or a link to an article or posted anything on Facebook or Twitter or in an email or a phone call or private conversation, then you are involved in word-of-mouth distribution and marketing. You see it in careers as well. You're a school teacher? If so, guess what? You're involved in word-of-mouth distribution of information. I get the confusion because if you're not paid directly by each student, they don't hand you $20 each as they're walking out of class. But make no mistake, your weekly salary comes to you because you are deeply involved in the distribution of information. You work at a bank, you're involved in the distribution of money and contracts. A secretary, you're involved in the distribution of people and information. If you're a health practitioner, a doctor, or a therapist, then you're involved session after session in the distribution and marketing of physical and mental health. You'd be hard-pressed to find any career that is not making its income from some form of distribution and marketing. You're just not getting paid beyond your last hour of work. You have to get over this hard-won belief that your career is what you think it is, because in terms of big life goals, it is simply not capable of creating them. Big life goals don't occur in the classic career. A lot of us are not only struck by this image, but sadly resonate with it. The truth is, for most of us coming out of college, and even those of us who've been out of college for years, we're stuck with student loans that may continue to strap us down for years and years to come. This may seem like an insurmountable hurdle, and it certainly is through the old linear income model, but now we have the power to change that. The greatest thing about the opportunity I'm about to show you that's available to all of us is that you don't have to drop everything you're doing in life to join it. This opportunity is something you can build part-time, a few hours a week, right alongside your career you love, your career you have a calling and a passion for. For many of us, our passion may not be earning us enough money to truly thrive, but this opportunity we have can support you to do whatever you want to do in life. This opportunity I'm talking about is called Alphay. For a few hours every week, we are a part of the distribution of what Alphay does and Alphay makes. So who is Alphay and what do they do? Alphay is a billion-dollar, privately owned company that has been tucked away for over 40 years in China, until now. Alphay is in the longevity business. They're the world's largest grower, manufacturer, and distributor of an herb that for over 3,000 years has been known as the longevity herb. It's a medicinal mushroom called lingji. Now, if you've never heard of lingji before, then you're in good company, because neither had most of us who have just gotten involved. But after this presentation, go home and do a quick Google search on the word lingji. You're going to see not hundreds, but thousands of scientific studies on lingji showing its profound results from allergies, regulating the immune system, skin and digestive issues, to improving sleep and mental focus. Science is just now starting to prove why lingji has been considered the most revered herb in all of traditional Chinese medicine. And Alphay is the world's biggest player in lingji. They are privately owned by a second-generation mycologist, and in fact they're the growers, the source, for 75% of the world's lingji supply. They're completely vertically integrated, so they're able to control every aspect, from the nutrients in the soil used to grow their Lingji all the way up through the manufacturing end. They've got this huge campus that's been the host of many of the international medicinal mushroom conferences held around the world each year. They've got over 70 top scientists and mycologists working full-time, not only leading the whole investigation into why and how Lingji has such a beneficial impact on the human body, but also how to make it most bioavailable to us. The entire world is currently in the beginning of what could be called a longevity movement. Everywhere you look, people are becoming deeply interested in the connection between the nutritional choices they make and the outcome of their health. Well, Alphay certified organic Lingji products are perfectly timed to be the must-have whole food supplement in everyone's kitchen cabinet. And Alphay's products pass all purity and heavy metal testings with flying colors. Alphay's been growing in China for the past 40 years. Last year, they were finally ready to enter the Western world. They set up offices here in North America and set the goal to expand to 25 other countries in the next 5 years, starting here, starting with us. That is where you and I come in. That is precisely why the Alphay opportunity is so exciting right now, because it's starting with this small band of us. They're not handing the job off to big health food stores in the standard distribution model. They're handing it to us. I want you to imagine if Steve Jobs had approached you and I back in 1996 and offered us his opportunity back before iPhones were invented, when stocks were around $12 a share, back before the company became so successful as it is today. Imagine if Mark Zuckerberg had approached you and I in the first month he started Facebook and offered us his opportunity back before a billion people had opened up their Facebook accounts. This is how those of us starting with Alphay feel, that this is the biggest opportunity of our lifetimes. Some other reasons you may want to consider joining us. Timing. Lingji may have been around for thousands of years, but hardly any of us Westerners know about it. With Alphay and you, that's about to change. Longevity. Alphay is a 40-year-old billion-dollar debt-free company. This means that what you and I build now will last the rest of our lives. Scientific interest. As you're going to see, there's an almost frantic pace of clinical trials and scientific research on Lingji. This is a worldwide movement that is going to grow whether you and I are involved or not. Lingji can have a profound effect on health, and Alphay has spent decades perfecting the science of Lingji. No one makes a more potent formula. Leveraged income. Alphay gets us out of trading our time for money. This is a business that allows you and I to create residual income for ourselves and our families even as we sleep. Ground floor. We are brand new to the Western world. When you join Alphay now, you're placing yourself into a network that is just starting up and will travel all around the planet. International expansion. We here in North America are the small starting group for Alphay outside of China, but in the next few years, they're going to expand into all these other countries. Imagine building a network that ends up being in 6 or 7 or 8 other countries in the next 18 months. You're working from your home in your PJs and video conferencing with people all over the world. And I know some people are thinking, well, I don't know anybody in other countries. But that's okay, because someone who eventually comes into your network will, and when they get a hold of a friend or a business contact in Brazil or Australia or Germany, those people now become a part of your network. Suddenly, 6 months later, you have 80 or 100 or 20 or 40,000 Alphay members all using your product in or around Paris or Sydney, and you're earning commissions from each of them. Understanding this single point of international expansion that is starting right here, right now, this evening is so powerful. Teamwork. By getting involved in Alphay, you join us. Every day you will be working not only with the person who introduced you to Alphay, but also the other people who put this talk together. And we meet every day, every week, as often as you can and at the speed at which you want to succeed, using the power of video conferencing and conference calls to train you and your new people, all without leaving our homes. And all of this training is free and part-time. Now, I want to make clear the basic structure of this business model. Let's return to this integral slide. All residual income comes through sharing a network that is something that a network of people want to use over and over. That's really all it is. It's really that simple. To understand how this works with Alphay, let's look at something we're all more familiar with. Earlier, I told all of you that you should watch this movie. Say you go home today and watch it. Now, if I were part of a network business whose consumable product was this movie, I would get paid because you watched that movie. But imagine if you also became a part of this business network, and you not only watch that movie over and over because you like it, but you naturally share it with others. Now you get paid every time they watch it, and so do I. This is not a pipe dream. This is the new reality. More and more people are thinking the same things. They're starting to realize that they're not getting ahead no matter how hard they push themselves. They want their time back. They're starting to realize that a classic job is not going to get them where they want to be in life. This is how those of us just starting out with Alphay felt that inspired us to make a change in our lives. We choose Alphay for many reasons, many that are appealing to almost anyone, such as working a few hours a week on something that's fun and not difficult to learn, and all of these excellent reasons. Now, like any career path, Alphay's particular way of creating those big life goals is not for everyone, but the products are. If you're interested in getting rid of long-standing health issues and seeing what Lingji research can do for you, you have to try Alphay's product for 60 to 90 days. You're going to want to know why Lingji has been known as the herb of longevity and why all these scientists are dedicating so much research, money, and time into it. For those of you whose ideas on career have been sparked by this talk, good, I've done my job. Come join our team. Thank you so much for joining this presentation. Have a wonderful day.